Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you have not subscribed yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button. If you're a new subscriber, I'd like to welcome you to Nosipo Kubeda's YouTube channel. I hope you do find the content that you are looking for, and Happy New Year to you guys. I wish you all a prosperous 2022, and I trust that it will bring everything that your heart desires. And I'd like to encourage you guys to please like the videos. Don't forget to drop a comment. Today will be quite exciting. I'll be discussing something that's rather controversial, I think, but you know me, I'm all about honesty. I'm all about having those honest conversations, no matter how much it may cost. So today I will be talking about the untold truths about pregnancy and parenting, basically motherhood. I feel like, and I did mention in the last video, that I feel like there's a lot of things that we as women don't talk about when it gets to issues of pregnancy and being a mom. And I want to outline my issues. I want to outline the challenges that I faced while I was pregnant and while I was getting used to motherhood. And I hope you guys enjoy this, and please let's engage on the comments. I'd like to know more about your stories. Maybe you had a different journey. Maybe what was a challenge to me was a strength to you. So I'd like to know all about that. Do drop those comments and let's continue engaging. So I've named this video Untold Truths About Pregnancy and Motherhood slash what people won't tell you. So I'm saying that because I believe that these issues are not discussed, and that's exactly why we're having this video. Okay, like I said, that most of the times when we hear of pregnancy stories, or when we see pregnancy stories on the socials, it's all about happy moms showing their nice bellies, you know, those pregnancy photo shoots, and you know, we're telling you guys about the journey of pregnancy and how amazing it is and how happy I am to be taking on the role of a new mom. But we don't really tell much about what happens on a daily basis. That picture has probably taken like 30% of my day, and that's probably the only happy part of my day. For the rest of the time, I'm going through the most behind the scenes. I can't sleep, I'm fatigued, I can't eat. And that's all that I think should be discussed and should be out there. We obviously don't post those moments on social media because they make us look so weak, right? I mean, it doesn't make you look or feel woman enough to be posting about your weaknesses during pregnancy. And what I've noticed is that we as women also put so much pressure on other women to fall pregnant. And after going through what I went through, I feel like we should be respectful of the fact that it is a difficult journey. If anyone decides that they don't want to fall pregnant, they don't want kids, let it be. That just means that they're not ready to endure the difficulty that comes with it. Don't get me wrong, it is amazing. There's an amazing side of pregnancy. There's an amazing side of motherhood. It's all worth it, but I just want you to know that it's not always easy. And it gets better over time. That's something that I feel like I should mention from the word go. It gets really better over time. It's just that obviously the first few months, the first few days are difficult because it is a form of change that you teach yourself to adapt. So once you've adapted and you sort of are carrying on with life, it does get better. So the first thing that I would like to discuss, so I've mentioned I've listed 5 things during pregnancy that I feel are untold and need to be spoken about, and I've listed 5 things in motherhood or in parenting. So the first thing that I'd like to discuss with you guys is the fact that when you are pregnant, there's a lot of changes that happen. Your hormones are changing. They're working overtime trying to help you to build this human being inside of you. That means your body is changing. That means your emotions are different. That means yourself in general are changing during this time. And that can be quite heavy. I mean, you're still grasping the fact that you are pregnant. At the same time, your body is just fast tracking everything. It's trying to prepare you for the eventual process of birth in 9 months time. So I feel like we should be aware that it can be difficult in those first few months because your body is going through so much changes. Like I said, I almost felt like I was going into a mini depression because my emotions were just out of this world. I did not understand who I was emotionally, and it can be difficult because you don't have control of who you are at that very particular time. You don't understand how you're acting or reacting to certain situations. And so maybe knowing this might help you to prepare yourself one day when you eventually fall pregnant, or maybe it might help you in terms of making the decision as to whether or not you plan to fall pregnant. The second point that I've mentioned that also has an emotional impact or psychological impact is the fact that you find out that you're pregnant, and then in your head, like, you do know that pregnancy means that you're bringing a whole human into this earth. Therefore, you want to start preparing for that. So you want to start preparing for that person physically, and physically maybe, you know, buying the cot, or getting the room ready. Emotionally, you may start to want to read the right material to help you to become a better mom. And it's just financially as well, you may want to start your savings and all of that. So that causes so much anxiety because in your head you think, oh my God, I'm just pregnant now. I've just found out I'm pregnant now. That means I have 9 months or I have 8 months to sort all these things out that I'm talking about. And it might seem impossible at that phase, trying to build this thing or trying to prepare for this baby in just the 8 months or the 9 months that you're putting up for yourself, because of the fact that physically you're also limited. You're not functioning as a normal human being in the sense that you're mostly tired. If you're a person that's used to working 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, you might need to reduce because your body is just not in its normal state. So that can cause a little bit of anxiety, and it happened to me so much in the first few months because I was thinking, here I am, I just quit a job. We are literally trying to build a business, surviving on one salary on a monthly basis. So that means that we need to come up with a plan for when the baby comes. So that means you've tried to find ways to substitute income where there's no income, or build income faster. So that was anxious. That was very anxious for me, and I felt it added to the already emotional distress that was existing inside of me. And I mean, you could be in a phase where you are unemployed like ours, or there's just so many emotional things that you are dealing with, and knowing that you're pregnant and that you have 9 months to sort your life out can freak you out a lot. So that's another thing that I found to be psychologically draining altogether. The third point that I have for you is the reality that pregnancy affects your purpose. It really does. Sometimes when you're pregnant, you're not able to physically do the things that fire you up, the things that ignite your spirits, the things that keep you going. And for me, if I may make an example, it was YouTube. I could not film a YouTube video because I did not feel confident of the fact that I was gaining weight. I felt like I looked different. My clothes didn't fit. My makeup was not setting on my skin. I was just two-toned everywhere. So that affected my purpose because I did not feel good doing it. Your purpose could be something else. It could be teaching. It could be running. It could be whatever. So maybe you're not able to, maybe you're lucky enough to be able to still do some of it, but I bet you it won't be in the same magnitude. Or you can do it for the first few months, and after that you might have to stop. So that's a reality that we need to face. The fact that you're going through physical changes, you're going through emotional changes, your body is looking different, might affect you from doing the things that you really love, and the things, if you're an outgoing person, you like to party, you like to do whatever, you might not be able to do that because number one, you can't even have 1% of alcohol while you're pregnant. So it means that you have to stop all those activities because now you are baking this thing inside your tummy. So that's a reality, and that can cause a little bit of depression on many women because you feel trapped. You feel like you can't do the things that fire you up. You feel like you can't do the things that add meaning to your life. And of course, that is bound to lead you to some form of a depression. So I felt like I need to mention this, even though maybe when I say it doesn't seem so big, but when you're in my shoes, or when you're in the shoes of a pregnant person, then you understand that I can't stay indoors the whole time. I need to go out. I need to do things that I love, until you realize that you can't because of your current situation. And maybe at that particular time, sacrificing your purpose is worth it, because you know that you're carrying this human. But in the long run, it does cause a little bit of distress on your emotions and on your psychological well-being. The fourth thing that I think is not spoken about enough in pregnancy is the fact that the last month of pregnancy is very hard. It is demanding. It is draining. First of all, you are tired because your tummy is as big as a bakery, and moving from one place to another becomes a mission. You are discouraged because now you are at your ugliest, number one. Your neck is as black as coal. You are chubby. None of your clothes fit. You're anxious because here's this 9th month that's coming, or 10th, or whatever that's coming, and you know that you are due that month, and so you want it to come so soon. Like, you just want the baby out as soon as possible. So that causes anxiety on itself. Also, the fact that you are not sleeping at this point, no position makes sense. No sleeping position makes sense. You try the sides, they don't work. You feel somehow when you try to sleep. So you end up not sleeping. You are peeing every 2 seconds. That too disturbs your sleep. So nothing works in that last month, to be honest. It is very difficult. You can't even, when you're up, you can't even work because your brain is not functional. It's very difficult. For me, I felt like the last month was the hardest out of the 9 or 10 months. The other thing that caused me a lot of anxiety was people asking, "You're still pregnant? The baby is still not coming. Yo, baby, asipe mara. Why am I phone puma?" Those type of things, they really, really freak me out. Like, someone would call me literally to check, "Are you in hospital yet?" I'm like, dude, do you think if I didn't have a baby, you think I wouldn't tell you by now if I had a baby? Like, how do you think I feel when you ask me if you're feeling anxious? Imagine how I'm feeling about your question of when I'm due, or why the baby is not coming. And it really freaks you out. Sometimes you think, oh, maybe they're right. Maybe there's something wrong with me. Oh my God, am I gonna go past 40 weeks? I don't wanna be induced. And all those things, they just mess you up, and they find you, remember, they find you in a state of already being emotionally unstable. So when they pile up, when they add up to the anxiety, it's just unbearable. And I struggled so much on this, to a point where I'd literally not take calls. My phone was like sitting there all day, every day. I did not care who was calling. I only spoke to the people that I needed to speak to at that point in time, because I was avoiding the question of, still, you're still waiting for the baby. Oh my God, this baby's stubborn. It was too much for me. I could not handle it. That's why I then opted to just go off and be nowhere to be found. The last point, and I think it's fair for us to discuss this, the process of birth is very difficult. Maybe when we talk about it, you think, I can bear with it, or no, there must be an easy way out. C-section is the easy way out, or I'll just get an epidural, that's the easy way out. No. The process of birth on its own is difficult. Think about this. Before you give birth, your baby is inside of you, and you're basically one. And the process of giving birth is basically the separation of two souls. Now, how is that supposed to be easy? Like, how can a process that separates two different people from one be so easy and smooth? It can never be. Like, it involves more than just the physical. It's a spiritual process, it's an emotional process. It's more than just what we think it is. So I feel like we underrate this a lot. We talk about it when we laugh and we say, yo, hell, boy. But it really is difficult on the mind. So maybe when we speak about it, we speak more of it from a physical sense that, oh no, the labor pains are painful. But psychologically, I think it takes a lot from you, because in just a split second, you are expected to switch from the person who's been pregnant from 9 months to now being a new mom. You're supposed to switch from, I'm used to what I know, like the walking like a dog, the going to the bathroom so many times. I'm used to that now. I'm accustomed to that. To the other side of the world, which is breastfeeding, which is listening to a baby cry, which is, it can be too much on the mind, I think. And I feel like psychologically, there's ways that we can prepare ourselves. Let's not be oblivious of the fact that the transition from being pregnant to having a baby is smooth. It's not. And I feel like we can prepare ourselves so much better if we know that, or if we understand the meaning of the separation of two souls. We just need to also understand that spiritually there's a lot that's happening during that process, and literally anything can happen. And I think once we understand that, then we'll make sure that we are spiritually aligned with God, and you've spoken to him about it, and you've voiced it out to God, that you do realize that the process can be daunting, and therefore you ask for strength to go through the process smoothly. So maybe we talk about the physical part of it, the labor pains being sore, and the checking of the dilatation and everything. We talk about all of that being painful on the physical body, but emotionally and spiritually, there's a lot that happens that we can prepare ourselves better for when we find ourselves in those circumstances. Okay, so now I've covered the 5 untold truths about pregnancy. Now I want to move on to the other side of the world, which is motherhood or parenting. I went through the most on this end, because my expectation versus reality was totally different. I feel like I could have prepared myself better, but you can never really prepare yourself better, because each and every situation is different. So the first thing that I experienced personally as a challenge when it got to motherhood is the switch that I've already touched on a little bit, but I'll expand on that, but in the sense that in the first 9 months, I didn't have any complications with my pregnancy. So the first 9 months were perfect, 10 months were perfect for me. I did not have any issues whatsoever. And then came the birthing process, which was difficult in its nature. I knew that the birthing process would physically be difficult, but I had an added element because of the fact that I had a complication. I couldn't dilate properly. So because of that, I was overwhelmed by the difficulty. I was overwhelmed by the complications, because I'm so used to a smooth process. So I feel like had I had an open mind, in the sense that from the word go, be aware of the possibility of not having a natural birth, I feel like that would have helped me so much, because I was so fixated on having a natural birth, and I was convinced that I was going to have a natural birth with epidural, but I didn't spend much time dwelling on the what if, dwelling on the part where the natural birth doesn't work properly. So had I done that, I feel like I would have been psychologically prepared. And essentially, the other thing that affected me, that was a difficulty after giving birth, is the conditions that your newborn baby may come with. Asita came with a very severe jaundice, so he had jaundice, and it had to be treated for like a whole week, if I'm not mistaken. He had to go through phototherapy, even though we went at the hospital, we were doing it from home. But it was very, 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 very demanding for me as a mom. I even feel like he was doing better than ours. For me, watching my newborn baby be sick and being put on this machine, it was just a hectic process. We literally had to feed him for 30 minutes, put him back on the machine, cover his eyes for the light not to affect him, and I couldn't cuddle with him, I couldn't be he couldn't be a normal baby while he was going through all of that. And I felt like I was overwhelmed by the amount of difficulty because I was so used to a smooth process. So if we are aware beforehand that literally there's a lot of things that could go wrong, from the birthing process to your newborn baby while you're in hospital, there's a lot that can go wrong. And don't be too overwhelmed when your baby falls sick or has any of these other smaller conditions that arise upon birth. So it would have helped me better if I was mentally prepared to go through that. I think it was very far from me. I thought, no, just because my 9 months of pregnancy was smooth, I shouldn't have much complications at birth, or my newborn baby will come out healthy because every check has shown that I'm fine, every check has shown that he's fine, therefore it should be okay. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have faith that everything will go well. You should have that faith still, but be aware, have an open mind in terms of what could possibly go wrong. Okay, this one is also something that is quite controversial. Everyone has got their opinion on parenting. Please do acknowledge the fact that we parent differently. You also, as a new parent or as a second-time mom or whatever the case may be, you have your own preferred way of how you want to parent your baby. Do not, and I repeat, do not get overwhelmed by people's opinions. Choose a stance or choose a method or a process that is being recommended and stick to it. If you can, do enough research before, attend antenatal classes wherever you can to make sure that you are aware of what it takes to be a mom to a newborn. Don't just go with whatever people are telling you. People will tell you different things, especially when it gets to the different generations. Today's generation will definitely parent better than our parents' generation. It's 2 generations apart, and definitely things will be different in terms of how we parent. So you must just choose a stance or choose a way of how you want to parent and stick to it. Don't be confused by people's opinion. They will tell you that if you are you must use surgical spirits, and if you want to stick to that, you can, but someone else will tell you don't use surgical spirits, rather just use water or let it fall off by itself. Someone else will tell you, no, use the powder that you find at Discam. It's better. The surgical spirit is bad because of 1, 2, and 3. It's very overwhelming. Decide what you want to do. Decide what you want to do with your baby and stick to that. If anyone else forces something that you do not want, you and your partner do not want, then be happy to say, I'm sorry, I understand that this is how you did things, but this is how I want to do things. Understand? I'm a new parent, and maybe you think I don't know much, but I've done my research and this is what it says. And at the end of the day, you and your partner's word stands. So it's important to be in sync with your partner so that whatever methods that you guys are trying to figure out, you are in agreement and your parenting style is the same. Especially when there's a third party that's trying to convince you to do things otherwise. So please stick to what you know, what you want. And the only way you'll be able to tell people off is if you do research and you understand what's good and what's not. So don't just rely on other people to tell you how to parent. Do your own research so that you can have a stance to pick. You can have a process that works best for you. The third truth that I think is untold is the fact that parenting a newborn is difficult and you will need help. It's not a maybe, or maybe you'll survive, or if you're strong. No, you will definitely need help. If not a nanny from the word go, then definitely someone older, but also someone who can physically help you. So the reason why I say this is because you can literally spend the whole day the whole day nursing your newborn. And by spend the whole day, I mean it may be difficult for you to even get time to bath because the baby's crying, you need to feed him. You try to do things while he's napping. Next thing you know, he's up in 5 minutes and the process starts again. There's this thing that I was seeing a lot on social media that new moms should try and nap when the baby naps. It does not work completely because you'll be tired and sometimes you will want to nap even though the baby is not napping. Sometimes babies nap for like literally a minute. Does that mean that you should also nap for a minute? No. So I recommend getting help from the word go and being aware as a person that there's no ways you're gonna do that. You're gonna parent all by yourself. Over and above help from your partner, I highly recommend that you get help from someone else, preferably female, who understand, who you'll be able to tell or talk to about what you're going through. It must just be help from all angles and not just help physically. Someone who you'll be able to converse about, maybe if you're bleeding a lot or you want to just inquire about the journey that you're going through. Preferably it must be someone who's gone through it before, who has had a baby before, who will be able to give you constructive advice when you need it. Okay. So the points that I was discussing links very nicely to this next one, because I'm saying the next untold truth that I feel like we need to discuss is the fact that no matter how much help you may have, no matter how supportive your partner is, at the end of the day, the ultimate responsibility of caring for a baby remains the mother's. And I will be very honest, I was not aware of this. I didn't know. I was not aware of it and I did not practice it. So let me make a simple example. If you have help and you have maybe your younger sister or you even have a nanny that's helping you in the house, sometimes your baby will cry to the point where only you can make them keep quiet. Like only you can touch them and they'll feel much better. Physically, only you can breastfeed them. So literally by that, it means that you are the last person standing in whatever situation. This is very important to understand. It can also be very limiting. This is why your movements will be very limited after giving birth, because you can't go too far, because remember, you're the ultimate responsibility. People can relieve you for an hour or two, but you can't really go that far because you may be needed. So I think it's also innate, like it also comes with the process of parenting and the process of being a woman. The fact that you as a woman are the one that carries a baby for whatever the duration until the birth comes, already it means that there's certain things that only you will be able to do when it gets to a baby. So literally that can limit a lot of things, and we need to be very aware of that. You can want your partner to be supportive, to help you with other things, but at the end of the day, the baby is yours, sis. You have to take on that responsibility as it comes. And I'll be honest that I struggled with this. I thought that I could get help and I could literally feel the weight lifting off. When you get help, it becomes better, but it doesn't completely go away. Like that responsibility doesn't completely go away. So I think the awareness of this and literally understanding what it means will definitely prepare you for when you eventually do decide to become a new mom. The last untold truth about motherhood is the fact that fine, your baby is growing well and you're probably hitting the 6 weeks mark, going to 10, and you can see that your baby is healthy and you sort of are getting the hang of things, and then you have this sudden urge to get your old life back. Like you just you want to go back to, remember I spoke about those things that you neglected, the things that form part of your purpose that you couldn't do while you were pregnant. So now you're starting to feel like, okay, maybe I can go back and do all those things. I just want my old life back. My other clothes are starting to fit now. My tummy is going back in. And, I just want to experience that life. I mean, it's only fair. I haven't been that person for maybe over a year, and I just can't wait to be that person again. The reality is that life will never be the same. You will never go back to the old person you were before you were pregnant. Literally, you have a baby now. That just means that your life now involves the baby. So even though you can try and do the things that you used to do before you felt pregnant, now it's different in the sense that you're gonna have to find a way to do those things with a baby in the picture. And I don't think that makes sense. If I may make an example, if you are an outgoing person who likes to go out to a restaurant, try out foods, you may say, yeah, fine, I can go to a restaurant and enjoy my food alone. You will go, sis, and no one's going to tell you after 2 hours to pack your things and go home, because number one, you will miss your baby. You will feel so guilty. You will feel like you just want to know what's happening back home. You're going to be so anxious. So no one will tell you to go back home. And secondly, you may say that, fine, I'll take the baby with. You take your baby to the restaurant, and before you know it, they are fussy, they're crying, and they will sleep, but just when it's time for you to eat, they're up again. So I had a moment like that, and that's when I realized that no, this is it. I may never want to, I may never have my old life, but it's just a matter of me learning how to adjust to this new me and living and planning life inclusive of a baby. And I spoke to a friend of mine who made me realize that maybe I understood it in that concept of doing what I love, but it literally means everything around you should have the same mentality. Your friendships will change because now you want to chill more with people who have babies, with people that understand. You will need the support, first of all, from people that have been through the journey. So it just brings a reality to things that you're going to have to amend your life from all perspectives to fit this new person that has just arrived. It's a reality. I'm not saying that you have to now only stick with people with babies, but you're going to have to be accommodative in terms of who you chill with, when you chill, where you go out. It's just those type of things that maybe you're not cautious of, that will definitely have to be amended as a result of the arrival of a baby. I do have a bonus point, and this is point number 11 that I feel like I should mention now. Sis, your relationship will definitely change. It will definitely be different. Your marriage will definitely be hindered by the fact that there's a new baby. Remember, it's a new chapter that you guys are amending to or are adjusting to. So you'll both be trying to figure this thing out. That will cause a lot of frustration, and at some point your parenting styles may clash. At some point, the fact that you are both trying to navigate parenting plus all the other things in life, it will cause a bit of conflict. But I just want you guys to be aware of that. It's very short-lived though. It's just a phase that you go through while you both try to figure things out. But once you have figured it out and once you are aligned again, it goes back to what you guys initially started. It goes back to the purpose of your relationship or your marriage. It's at this point where I feel I must say, based on all the challenges that I went through during pregnancy and parenthood, I highly recommend that you only have a baby when you have a stable partner, because you will definitely need the support. I do not imagine or want to imagine what my parent went through parenting as a single mom. It must have been very difficult and emotionally draining. I highly recommend, this is just from me, from my personal perspective, I highly recommend parenting when you have a stable partner with you who will be able to give you support, who will be able to understand that you're going through so much change emotionally, physically, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that's all I had for you guys. I hope that you find this video very insightful. I hope that these truths will help you in the process of preparation. It will help you while you decide whether or not you want to get into the game of parenting one day. And please don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. You will go through the most amazing moments. I still say, even after having experienced so much challenges, that the happiness and the joy that a baby brings in one's life by far outweighs the challenges. So it's all worth it. And don't forget that pregnancy and having a newborn is something that lasts for a short term, but you'll definitely have your baby for the rest of your life, and they will grow and transition into different phases and different stages, and the more they grow, the more joy they bring and the less troublesome they become. It's just that I feel that in that process of pregnancy and raising a newborn, there's a lot of things that happen in the background that we may need to prepare ourselves more as women. I say this because I myself was not prepared, and I felt like sharing a video of just mentioning the things that threw me off a bit might be helpful for anyone out there. That's it from me, guys. I hope that you did enjoy this video. I hope to see you next time. Don't forget to like and comment on the video. Please do share your experiences. I'd love to learn more from you guys. And if you have not subscribed yet, don't forget to click that subscribe button. From me, it's nothing but love.